Hi there, it's John here, and this is a response to Salka and to Stepford wife escaping. It's on this sort of idea of humility and self-esteem. The first thing I want to say is how moved I was by your videos, and although I've not had the sort of experience of being a Jehovah's Witness, I have had the experience when I was a child of being bullied at school, and I had the experience of being undermined at home and being told that I was useless and stupid. And I'm very much aware of how difficult it is to overcome this negative programming. And it's not just programming as well. When we are bullied, be it verbally, emotionally, physically, sexually, whenever we're bullied, it also creates within us, there are instinctive reactions like fight and flight and freeze. And when we've been bullied over many years and humiliated many, many times, those processes, if you like, get blocked as well, and there's lots of energy. I don't know whether you notice, but when the inner critic comes in, there's a lot of energy in that critical voice. And I remember that I had a partner for a brief 7-month relationship. And one of the things that she used to say to me was, "John, stop making yourself small." And I'm really aware how just because of the "you're useless and stupid," it would come back and I would diminish myself in some way. And that's not right, it's not good, and it's an ingrained habit that doesn't do anybody any good, me included. And it's really, really difficult. It's really hard. Certainly my early childhood experiences of being undermined at home, being constantly told how useless I was, how stupid I was, how I'd never do anything, never amount to anything. And combined with the bullying at school has had quite a devastating impact on my life, really. I had dreams of being a family man, husband, and a father, and I'm 51 now, and although it's biologically possible for me to father children, it's not going to happen. And for most of my life I spent it frozen and paralysed. And even now, as I look back on my life, there are times when, because of the indoctrination, because of the programming of useless and stupid, because there's the bullying, because there's the fight, flight and freeze and all the blocked physiological processes, actually for most of my life I've been frozen. I have been frozen in all sorts of areas, including sort of social, making friends, not thinking I was good enough, and even it's amazing the tricks that we play on ourselves, because even when I got myself a degree, a BA Honours, I was dyslexic as well, and I didn't start the degree programme until I was 20. But even though I did that, that in no way refuted the indoctrination. My justification for getting a degree was that it must have been easy and low standards, because if I could get it, it couldn't be high standards. So even the evidence itself did not in any way refute that. And of course I'm not useless and I'm not stupid, and I've gone on to do an MA in later years. But socially, it's caused me to freeze for many, many years. And it's very difficult, really, again, to break out of it. I do know, if you like, the principles of being able to break out of it. And as one of my own counselling clients said to me, and I'm not breaching a confidence here, but the person said, he said, the things you say, John, are simple, but not easy. They're simple, but not easy. One of the biggest advances, if you like, that I've made has, apart from being in counselling for several years where the pace was very, very slow, the change was slow, was from January 2005 when I discovered the focusing. And have a look at my other video on this called How to Heal Those Hurting Feelings, or something like Ramblings from My Counselling, and Healing Those Hurting Feelings on focusing. But with the self-esteem, just doing very, very simple things, like, for example, when this inner critic comes in and tells me, repeats my father's messages, I know what to do. I sort of ground myself in the body, and I just notice the solidity of the floor beneath my feet. And I can do that right now. I'm noticing there's all this sort of, there's almost tears in my eyes as I think about the dreams that I had and the frozen life that I've had for many years. But I do sort of ground myself and notice that critical voice, say hello to it. My inner critic often sits on her left shoulder, and I picture him a little goblet. And I just listen, and I notice, and I sense the energy there. And actually, I did a focusing session once, and this inner critic, I had a picture of this inner critic, and it was like one of those spiky sort of sea mines, you know, the bombs with the spikes in it. And it was really sharp, and as I sort of stayed with it and sat with it and noticed it and said hello to it, I had this picture of this little boy, this very, very frightened little boy, climb out from beneath this bomb-like picture, this black spiky bomb, and this little boy climbed out, and the inner critic was a part of me that was hurt, vulnerable, and actually needed a hug. This idea of the inner critic is quite important. Rather than saying, for example, I am so critical of myself, or just say, okay, there's something in me that's highly critical. Can I get some separation from it? Can I get some separation from it? If this is the critic and this is me, can I say hello to it? Can I sense the energy in it? Can I just listen to it without having to agree with it? It's the focusing stuff again. But one of the things that I have found is that this critical part, this inner critic, eventually it turns around and it becomes an ally. And I'm not saying that I'm cured, I'm not at all. I still find myself pulling myself down, particularly when I'm tired, particularly if I'm physically ill, which is quite frequent, actually. I have but when you treat it with gentle, non-judgmental curiosity, when you sense the energy, often you find that the most critical parts of yourself are actually the most vulnerable, and that's not how they appear. And also, Stepfordescape, you put the mask on to do that video. The inner critic, those critical bits of ourselves, the criticism is often a mask, and it's a mask for the most vulnerable parts of ourselves. And let me own that. It is a mask for the most vulnerable parts of me. But like you, I have broken dreams, and sometimes, particularly when I'm physically ill, they are rampant. And I know what I need to do is to step back, get some perspective, keep them company, allow the energy to process, allow the body to process the energy. But sometimes that is very simple to say, but not easy to do. So thank you for sharing. I trust and hope that this is a valuable contribution that some people